Thank you, Chairman Miller, and thank you to our friends from the Senate for joining us this morning. Today, as we begin the process to reauthorize the No Child Left Behind Act, we have an opportunity to reflect back upon some of the progress we've made over the past 5 years. Here are just a few. After nearly 4 decades of seeing it widen, the achievement gap in our schools is finally starting to close. The conversation over how best to educate every child is taking place not just in Congress and the state houses, but at kitchen tables, boardrooms, and schools all across America, representing the first time that our nation truly has committed to leaving no child behind. Federal funding for elementary and secondary schools has reached record levels. Consider this chart on the screens, which shows that federal funding for elementary and secondary programs has risen by more than a third since NCLB became law. And Title I funding for the most needy schools has risen even more sharply. The Title I commitment is particularly noteworthy because, as you can see on this second chart, the Title I commitment under NCLB far exceeds funding for the same programs before the law was enacted. In short, while we're expecting more, we're also providing more resources to schools with the hope that they'll deliver. And finally, parents have become empowered with more educational options under NCLB than ever before. For example, the law has made it possible for students in underperforming schools to transfer to better performing public schools, including charter schools, or receive additional educational services such as private tutoring. Still, challenges remain. Yes, the achievement gap is closing, but it's not closing quickly enough. Yes, there is an ongoing discussion about how best to educate every child. But within that discussion are some voices in Congress and in the education establishment urging us to back away from holding schools accountable for the education they are or are not providing our children. And yes, parents do have more options when it comes to giving their child the best possible education, but there still aren't enough options available or utilized. On this last challenge in particular, I believe Congress has an obligation to act. At its heart, No Child Left Behind is parental choice law. And indeed, if we are truly serious about strengthening NCLB, then we must get truly serious about giving parents more tools so their children can thrive under it. And that starts by empowering them with more choice. That's why today I'm introducing the Empowering Parents Through Choice Act, legislation that would provide expanded choice for parents whose children are trapped in schools that have consistently underperformed. Specifically, the bill will authorize opportunity scholarships to students attending schools in need of restructuring under NCLB. In short, if a child's school underperforms for 5 consecutive years, then any parent should be forced to send him or her there for a 6th year. Mr. Chairman, I enter the reauthorization process with a single goal: improving No Child Left Behind so it can continue the positive impact in our schools that we're beginning to see that it's had for the past few years. And I believe that empowering parents with more options, more choices, is essential to reaching that goal. I remain open-minded about all the potential changes to the NCLB that our committee and our colleagues in the Senate may consider over the next several months. For example, I believe we need to look for new and innovative ways to get the best teachers possible into our nation's classrooms. And I believe we need to work together to find the appropriate balance between accountability and flexibility where appropriate. At a roundtable in my congressional district several weeks ago, this balance was brought up on several occasions by education stakeholders in attendance, and their comments placed a particular emphasis on English language learners and special education students. I look forward to pursuing these and other matters in this hearing, as well as those hearings we'll hold over the next several weeks and months. Indeed, we have a long road ahead of us, but ending an agreement to strengthen this law and empower more parents will make it all worthwhile. I thank the witnesses for being here, and I look forward to their testimony.